friends of the magical lands of the gathering place.
Gathering place.
We are your host of the Longturnlarry podcast. I am your honorable sensei.
And
across from me,
scumbag. Sorry, scumbag.
The second worst human being I know.
I'm working on that first spot.
I don't know if you could get it.
Hey, unattainable goals are what make me me. Because I never finished.
So, I think this is part dos
Double trouble
of something we started yesterday. We're going to say yesterday because we're going to pretend like we recorded this.
Oh, yeah. This definitely wasn't in 2016.
Right. Some of these cards weren't even printed
Yeah.
in the future.
Oh, yeah. 100%. We all know. We got some spoilers, okay? You know, if you guys haven't played since Arabian Nights, we got some spoilers for you.
There's this card called
Oh, I'm listening.
Llanowar Elf.
Of course they got an elf. I remember when they didn't even have war in Lana.
Okay. So we were talking about sleepers last week. Bugs Bunny sleepers.
Yep, cards you would think, well, you wouldn't think of. That's like the whole point of this is these are cards that do really good things.
This list would not exist if you guys weren't bad.
but best in
Play
slot.
these cards.
Yep, best in slot.
Play them. So, do you want to start off, or do I want to start off?
All right, ready? Rock, paper, scissors. All right. It was a two shot, and we ended up going Woshambo. So I will kick us off with our first one here. So, in the spirit of how I talked so favorably about red last time, we're gonna talk about a red card. So
Another fucking red card.
all we need is
Does it have haste?
Nope.
Does it give haste?
Nope.
Oh.
I know you'd think it could. So I'm kind of a goblin myself, and I love and adore goblins. Mono red goblins.
Red deck wins, bro.
That's right. Burn.
Red deck wins, bro.
It's not my fault.
Not my fault you didn't counter that fourth lightning bolt.
Hey. Lightning bolt. Okay, I'm gonna tap a mountain. And lightning bolt.
Wait, sir, this is Commander. How did you cast four? Because
Sorry.
red deck wins.
Sorry, I meant to say I tap 2 red and reverberate to lightning bolt. Yeah, he's got extra steps now. But my first card that I feel like is very slept on is Krinko, but it's not Mob Boss. If you guys are familiar, the #1 Goblin Commander is Krinko Mob Boss. And we are not talking about him. We're talking about a more recent print Krinko. This is the 10 Street Kingpin. So
How you go from a mob boss to a kingpin?
hey, I don't know if that's a lateral move or if he went up. I don't know if Kingpin is above Mob Boss or if
I think so, because mob bosses lose to Spider-Man. Kingpin sometimes beats Spider-Man.
he does. He actually beats up a child. Most of the time, Spider-Man's like a teenager, and he's like, I'm gonna kill the kid.
Yeah, but he can throw a building at your face.
I know, he's very strong. No neck. 0 neck. But Kinko 10 Street Kingpin. 2 colorless and a red, so he is slightly cheaper than Mob Boss. For a 1/2 legendary goblin. So he is a 2/2. Or, I'm sorry, I wish he was a 2/2. He has, whenever Kingpin attacks, put a +1/+1 counter on it. Then create a number of 1/1 red goblins equal to his power. So it is on attack. It doesn't have to do combat damage. So you have some really weird interactions you can do.
Right.
You get goblins pretty safely. The downside is, of course, he is a 1/2 starting out. He has no first strike. He has no haste. He has no indestructible. But if you do get him to a higher power level and he puts +1/+1 counters on him, you can generate some pretty nasty goblin swings.
Yeah, I really don't see people build Krinko, and you sort of build him different from
Yes.
the other one.
Oh, very much.
This one cares about big beef boy make lots of goblins, not lots of goblins make too many goblins.
Yeah, exactly. It's still a go wide deck, but I feel like it's got a bigger spearhead at the front of it.
Right, people are gonna. In both cases, people are gonna try to take out Krinko.
Yeah, 100%. I don't know. In theory, in a commander match, commander damage is the alternative to infect, and I feel like Krinko 10 Street with some, like what. I can't remember its name. It is a red enchantment where they get +1/+1 for mountains. I think it's called Dragon Claws. It's the Black Blade Reforged for mono red. You could make Krinko a one-shot and then get a board to protect you after. So it's pretty nice.
Yeah, so if you get him to like commander damage and they deal with him, you still attacked and got 21 goblins. Like,
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
it's sort of like Voltron protection, because if I don't kill you in my Voltron, you have to deal with goblins.
Yeah, I'm still making. It's almost like the goblins are an afterthought with 10 Street. What you got for me? What's next?
What do I have? It's a little uncommon to see a halfling. It's not a lot of halflings. 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 And I think this one is pretty good and people aren't talking about it. This one is Allura Merry Thief, 2 colorless and a blue for a 3/2 legendary halfling rogue.
So cute.
Whenever you attack, up to 1 target attacking creature can't be blocked this turn. Return that creature to its owner's hand at the beginning of the next end step.
Oh, that's beautiful. Okay, how do you get all that deliciousness for 3 mana? Poor 10 Street.
Because it going back to your hand is bad. You have less creature on battlefield.
No, I saw that as get the shoop de whoop and pull, and then I see your creature just going, hey, whoop.
Yeah, you can cast it again.
I see some blinky
Or like
decks.
some ETBs that you might want again. Maybe you really need to get in with this creature and you don't care whether it goes back to your hand because it's done whatever it was going to do.
See, that was where I went. That was the first thought process I had. And it's a 3/2 for 3. It's decently efficient.
And it's a rogue, so it's a relevant creature type. You know who likes this card? Ninjas.
I can totally see this being a beautiful include in a ninja deck.
Like, after you ninjutsu your ninja in, like, they don't do combat damage very well. They don't.
Oh man, so go to swing, say this what's a good unblock skulker, a skulking character you have. So hit with skulk, make him unblockable. We then ninjutsu in the card that we're going to use with the combat trick. Then after it's been ninjutsu'd, second part of Allura goes off. We return back to our hand the ninja we ninjutsu'd. Am I following?
Not exactly.
Dun, dun, dun. Judge.
Because it has to be done on the ability triggers on attack. You have to choose the creature.
So this is an and or situation.
So, you already attacked in with the ninja the turn prior. Ninjas don't do combat damage very well after they've ninjutsu'd. You let it be unblockable, so you get that trigger off the ninja dealing combat damage, and then you return it back to hand, so you can ninjutsu it in again. If you have a creature like a Ragavan that already has dash and it's going back to your hand anyway, you just made it unblockable essentially for free.
I see what you're saying. I didn't realize like how close it was gonna the interaction. I was misreading into the interaction to say the least.
If you have a ball lightning,
or a creature that is going to sacrifice at the end step.
Right. You can now save it because you get to stack the triggers how you like and put it back into your hand before it dies.
That is beautiful. No, I think we're off to a strong start. 3 drops? I see this. 3 drops. I see you.
2-3 drops.
Ooh, in the spirit of 3 drops. Up next, we have Archetype of Courage, a colorless white. So this is an enchantment creature, human soldier 2/2, saying creatures you control have first strike, already off to a great start.
Cool.
Creatures your opponents control lose first strike and can't have or gain first strike. This, I feel, is one of those white synergies that people aren't abusing, because first strike helps you get around death touch. First strike helps you get around any type of creature shenanigans. So, and then removing their ability to have first strike is going to make it to where they no longer just block for block. So 3 drop 2/2, and then you have an enchantment synergy if that's something that you're going with. Downside though is adding enchantment, as beautiful it is, will make it to where it has those other interactions. It also makes it more susceptible to removal, because then it's like something that would say destroy all enchantments, which would normally never touch what looks like 300 on this card, by the way. These human soldiers are going to get warped back. Yeah, exactly.
Back to the Stone Age.
And weirdly enough, super powerful card, barely any play, less than 3%.
And soldiers are relevant creature type again.
So is human. Both of those are great types.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, first strike is really underrated.
I feel like it's definitely one of the combat abilities that is least utilized. I feel like it's one of them.
Right. Like when you have a creature with first strike, it's really easy to swing it in, and they have to do more to trade with that creature.
Yeah.
Like if they want that specific creature to die through combat, they have to commit more to the block so that they can actually kill it. And it gives you the ability to use combat tricks to kill more creatures if they decide to do it. And then on defense, you can't just swing into me freely. If all my creatures have first strike, if I have 10 damage, I can block your 10/10 and it doesn't kill anything because I have first strike. And then when you add death touch,
I was just about to say adding death touch to it. That's when the ability to ping and the ability to use first strike, I feel like, are like death touch best. It's the best friend of death touch, and first strike in combination with it is incredible.
Like trample, it's like first strike, flying, trample, vigilance. What are you doing? Wait. How are you ever killing this creature in combat?
I am going to slaughter pact and then not pay the upkeep cost because I go out on my terms.
You could. Now, let's talk about going out on your terms. Sometimes you need to fog for a long time. I mean, an extremely long time.
You trying to fog like every time?
Like, I don't want you to ever deal combat damage to me. So there's this little land called Glacial Chasm.
Delicious.
It's a land. Cumulative upkeep, 2 life.
Uh-oh.
When Glacial Chasm comes into play, sacrifice a land. That's bad. But you can't attack, and all damage dealt to you is reduced to 0.
Oh, that's just so balanced. Such a nice card.
So all damage effects, just even your own, you dealing damage to yourself, are just reduced to 0.
It's funny. Its name is a glacial chasm, so you had to destroy that land to make this chasm. Mm-hmm. And then at the same time, you can't attack. But I don't feel like these are downsides. I feel like if you pick this to put it in your deck, where would there be the downside? So, for the listeners at home, why don't you give them a taste of the deck I originally encountered this with you using?
Okay, so my sweet baby, Moldrotha.
The Droth.
The Droopy Doopy.
The Sultai Queen.
So if you're not familiar with Moldrotha, she's Sultai in 3 colorless for a 6/6 elemental, I believe.
Yep.
And you get, on your turns, you get to cast one of each permanent type from your graveyard.
Yep.
If you're not familiar, creature, enchantment, artifact, planeswalker, land, tribal. Ooh, they added a new one. Battle.
Yep, battles.
So I didn't even think about that. She just got better.
Yeah, she did by proxy.
By proxy,
Yep.
She got better. Oh, tribal is a thing.
Older. It's an older one. I don't think.
Are there any others?
Nope.
Okay. So what you can do with Moldrotha, she's not a combat deck. She wants to mill your own library.
Yep.
And then
Graveyard shenanigans.
win through graveyard shenanigans. And it's great when you don't need to attack to win the game, is play a land where you can't be attacked.
Yeah, and
profitably.
That second effect too, the all damage. I can't even kill you with like a fireball or a goblin war strike or more mono red burns.
And in Moldrotha, if you have a way to play 2 lands, you get to reset this every turn.
Yep, the very first beginning upkeep cumulative is now irrelevant.
You don't pay for it.
And the sacrifice of land is also irrelevant.
Right.
Yep. As long as you have enough mana that you're comfortable and you don't need to play anymore and you can play 2 or at least 2, it's over. Like, I can no longer beat you up. And what am I going to do? Destroy your land?
Yeah, there's some decks that just can't win through this.
Yeah.
Be careful. Loss of life is a thing.
Yep.
You can still die to those things. You can still be decked out and whatnot, but you really negate
a bunch of decks.
a bunch of decks.
A bunch of decks.
Oh, commander damage? Nope.
Yep, that doesn't matter because you can't hurt me to apply it. Yep. No, so many, and I feel like we had touched on it briefly, the ability to not take damage from your own effects. You can, and this is a colorless land, by the way. I don't think we prefaced that.
Right.
This is colorless.
You can play this in anything.
In anything. So there are some weird effects where it's like, whenever blah, blah, blah deals something, it deal 1 damage or 5 damage, or all of those are now, just remove that negative effect. I now have a glacial chasm. So I take 10 damage doesn't mean anything to me.
Let's say you're not like a Moldrotha deck, right? Specifically. If you're a landfall deck,
Yep. Easy.
easy.
If you're
Even-
a life game deck.
Even if you're a deck that swings, you swing in first
Yep.
and then play this land, I get 0 crackback.
Yep. Main phase
I
2.
sack this, don't pay for it. I essentially got like a turn for free, and y'all couldn't do anything to me combat wise.
Yeah, it is I added fog to a blue deck. I added fog to a red deck. This is adding fog to colors that don't have a fog. I think the only other one is black with darkness. That's the only other one I know of.
Green.
Well,
white,
yeah, green, of
black,
course, because but incredible, absolutely incredible card. Glacial Chasm, in my opinion, is super underrated.
Super underrated. I remember when I found the card, I didn't think it was real.
I was about to say, I thought it was a banned card when I first read it. It looked like a banned card to me. Do we have any other lands on our list?
No, I think I'm the only one.
It's a rare thing. Utility lands, that is a concept I feel Magic has strayed from for good reason, because you can't counter it. There's no counter target land. So, admittedly, you can't do anything about that. But in the spirit of being gross to your friends and only using green, fog is 1 green mana. It's an instant. What if we, instead of reducing the damage, we
chose violence?
We chose violence. My pick for another one that I feel like can be used in conjunction with a deck that would run that, like would run a fog, is Sandstorm. It's a single green instant, and it says it deals 1 damage to each attacking creature. So, of course, this is a reactionary spell. You're definitely not going to be running this on your own turn.
Unless you play dinosaurs and want to enrage them.
Yep, you want to enrage them. It's funny. I actually have a Dino Daddy deck, and I run Sandstorm in it. Go, Gishath, go. And I feel with 1 green mana, this is a common. It is 35 cents, receives less than 1% play, and can stop a goblin deck, a human deck, any token base, or like my
maybe not the humans.
Maybe not the humans, but
them dirty elves.
Them dirty elves. Maybe not zombies, because they're all 2/2s, sadly. Zombies like sandstorms. Because we have a sneak peek. I'm building a let's have fun with our friends and blow up our lands together.
You could, what's that red card? Whenever they try to attack you, all their creatures take 1 damage. It's like Mode of Fire or something, Lake of Fire.
It's a Lake of Fire, I believe.
Lake of Fire, and then Sandstorm. There you go. You got them zombies.
Yep. Now those filthy zombies are dead.
You know, no one expects damage from green.
From green. Mm-hmm. Especially on this scale too.
Not like deal 1 damage.
This little
just like spit in your eye. Like that dinosaur just like dropped the deuce and it just so happened to drop on your army and now their boots are sticky.
It's not. Yes, it's an inconvenience. 1 damage is an inconvenience. You ran into a cloud of mosquitoes. They could have renamed this Mosquito Storm.
Oh my goodness. It wouldn't be on here because I hate mosquitoes.
It'd be a black card. It'd have to be a black card because swamps.
No, it would, and you would also have to. They lose a life and you gain a life.
Just sprinkle.
Or you get a blood token.
You get a blood token. No, that's what it is. You get a blood token.
Just 1.
Yo, Wizards of the Coast. Come on.
Mosquito bite. Why don't we have mosquito tribal?
Why
Oh
are there mosquitoes?
Goodness.
I have to look. All right, I have to look.
They're probably just insects, but I don't remember specifically seeing a mosquito.
Mosquito. There's 3 of them. There's Heartstabber Mosquito, Swamp Mosquito, perfect, and Mosquito Guard.
Oh yeah, there's the one. It's like red, and if a
Black and white.
there is a red mosquito, and it has a landfall ability. I remember because I used to play it.
I think I know what you're talking about. It's like fallen.
It's like you choose a land, and whenever a land of that type enters the battlefield, they take 2 life, and you gain. It's weird. I don't know specifically what it's called.
But we will. Don't worry.
I'm gonna find that card, and I'm gonna mention it in next episode.
We will bring you all the mosquito updates.
All the people from Florida are cringing right now.
Oh, I hope. If you don't have mosquitoes where you live, I hate you. If you're cold enough that you don't get them, I hate you.
Have you ever driven a boat with cargo on it? Specific cargo that you stole from somebody else?
You mean booty?
Sorta. The card I want to talk about is Horde Hauler. It's 3 colorless and a red for a vehicle. It is a 5/5 with trample. Whenever Horde Hauler deals combat damage to a player, create a treasure token for each artifact they control.
Oh.
Crew 3.
Ooh, the crew 3 is nice. So I like it.
So,
I like it.
you know, those people with treasures, you don't like them very much.
Plays Dockside Extortionist once.
And then you swing at them with Horde Hauler, and you like sack those treasures now, or I get them too.
Yeah, I've never used vehicles. I will admit, I've never used them.
They're great.
I like the idea. I tap 3 things. And is it 3 things whose power equates to 3?
It's not 3 things. You just need power of 3.
3 to crew it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so a single.
And you can tap any number of things. It doesn't have to specifically be 3. You could tap 1,000 things.
So I can tap it in response. I just wish. I mean, I know this card would be so much more busted. I wish it was on attack.
You gotta feel the hatred.
I know, that's why they gave it trample. You gotta get hit. You know what's funny? It doesn't even look like a ship. It looks like it's like a train car battering ram steampunk mob boss.
I'm ramming it to your house and I'm stealing your treasures.
Yo, Scrooge McDuck, drop the Addy.
I need them.
I need that. Yeah, it's a 5/5.
And even, like, you know, artifact decks don't typically play beefy creatures.
No, they don't. They normally are using indestructible as a trope thing to get away with it.
If they even have that.
Yeah.
I'm smacking you for 5.
Yep. Or they build wide, like near decks, or yeah.
I'm smacking you for 5. I'm gonna make 1 billion treasures, and then I'm gonna pop off.
Billions
and billions of treasures.
Honestly, we have a lot of good red on here, and I feel like, again, hot takes. Let's play more red. Let's just do it from your local scumbag to you.
I like red.
I do too. I think red's one of my favorite colors.
It's one of the most degenerate colors I've ever seen.
Oh yes, it is. This next one, this one's gonna be a 3-parter. It's a card I find, well, cards that I found near and dear to my heart, but I know Honorable is going to fight me on this. This are the artifacts of empires. You have the crown, the scepter, and the throne. Respectfully, 2 colorless, 3 colorless, and 4 colorless. So we'll start off going least to greatest. So you have the Crown of Empires, which is the lowest mana cost for 2 colorless. Has 3 colorless, tap target artifact.
Tap target creature.
Oh, sorry. Tap target creature. But That's not that good.
It's terrible.
It's terrible. But gain control of that creature instead if you control artifacts named Scepter of Empires and Throne of Empires. So now we'll go on to the next one. We have Scepter of Empires, 3 colorless. As tap, Scepter of Empires deals 1 damage to target player. That's horrible.
It's fucking terrible.
But it deals 3 damage to target player instead if you control artifacts named Crown of Empires and Throne of Empires.
What does the throne do?
I'm glad you asked. 4 colorless for Throne of Empires. For 1 colorless and tap, put a 1/1 white soldier creature token onto the battlefield. That's bad. But put 5 of those tokens onto the battlefield instead if you control Crown of Empire and Scepter of Empire. Now, before I talk about how much I love this, Honorable, what is your...
They're the worst 3-card combo I could really think to put together. Oh my goodness, I am so tired. You know what? No, I'm not even tired. If you are skilled enough, you have to be skilled.
Yeah.
You would have to be skilled to pull this off. This is a flex, okay?
It is. It's a flex.
If you beat your opponents with the throne, the scepter, and the crown, you deserve to win.
Oh, 100%.
You deserve to win.
So, to give some backstory, when we first started playing Magic, we played Standard. So without going on a super long journey to back in ye olden day, before Commander existed, it was a 60-card format, and we ran 4 cards of certain things. So I was running 4 crowns, 4 scepters, and 4 thrones, and I could still barely get it off. This might be my troll pick of today, but I feel like the crown, once you have all 3 pieces, a 3 colorless singular tap, gain control of target creature. That is great, but you are very right. Getting crown and scepter and throne.
How much mana do you have to? You have to spend 2 mana to play it, 3 mana to tap it.
Yep.
Another 3 for the scepter.
Yep. We're 8.
Another 4 for the throne.
Hey, that's only 12 colorless. That's an Ulamog, you know. That you could gain control of.
To steal a singular creature. And then
deal,
the only other effect that's free after that is dealing 3 damage.
That lightning bolt, baby.
Why?
Lightning, baby. See, this is a great example of, I think, good. Why not?
Like I said, you know what? If these are your favorite cards, you should build a deck that just tries to get these out and make copy of the crown and just steal all of people's stuff. But if your opponents lose,
you don't want to see King Tribal.
I don't think I would play Magic ever again. Not Commander. I would stop playing Magic. I would sell all of my cards.
Do you hear it? That's the sound of salt. I love it.
It's not salt. This is pepper.
It
Because
is.
this is the spiciest pick you've probably ever.
Hey.
All right. Can I talk about like a good card?
Oh, but please.
It's okay. It's not that good. What you should do after you play these crowns and the scepter and this throne is go on a search for glory.
Search for glory.
2 colorless and a white for a snow sorcery. Ooh, Winter Wonderland. Search your library for a snow permanent card, comma, a legendary card, comma, or a saga. Reveal it But I can't see. I'm sorry. Reveal it and put it into your hand. Then shuffle your library. You gain 1 life for each snow mana spent on this spell.
Ooh. It's pretty cold. I like what you did there.
That's a pretty cold tutor.
It is.
So, the reason why I think this card is good is because it is very flexible.
Yeah, at first glance, you think it's a snow-only card.
Yeah.
It's definitely not.
But it sort of can be. If you are playing the snow deck, this is a snow tutor. Cool. Also, if you're playing budget and you get these snow duels, you could just go search up for a land and put it into your hand.
Ooh, very true.
It also searches for a legendary creature.
Like Krinko, 10th Street Kingpin.
Correction. Legendary card.
Oh, I didn't catch that actually. It's legendary card. So there's some other tasty, spicy things it can go get.
The worst thing it does is maybe giving you like some life.
I feel like that's just like a byproduct, but it's still nice. And there's no downside to running snowlands. It's not like they're that much more expensive.
Right. You can just have like regular snow basics, or you can have these snow duels.
Yep.
Which tap for one of your 2 colors if you're a 2-color deck.
Wow. So I'm putting this into context. This is like an Eldrami's Call that would have given me life as well.
Right. And nobody's playing it, man.
And it's only a singular white pip too. So this can go in
very
anything.
I play this in my 5-color decks.
Oh yeah. Joda. This is a definite Joda card.
Joda is gone. No. Joda's a scumbag. I don't like Joda anymore.
Joda the Unifier, more like Joda Destroyer of Playgroups.
So, you know what I would tutor for this card?
What would you tutor for?
The Cruelty of Gix.
The Cruelty of Gix.
The Cruelty of Gix. It's 3 colorless, 2 black. Read ahead. You know what read ahead does?
I know I'm not supposed to for my summer reading.
Not funny. Anyway, you can read ahead to any chapter within the saga. So the first chapter is target opponent reveals their hand. You choose a creature or a planeswalker card from it. That player discards that card.
Very nice. A duress effect.
2. Search your library for a card. Put that card into your hand. Then shuffle. You lose 3 life.
A vampiric tutor or demonic tutor.
A grim tutor,
Grim
specifically.
Tutor. Yep, it's a grim tutor.
3. Put target creature card from a graveyard, not just your own, onto the battlefield under your control.
Reanimate without the life loss.
So, let's not pretend. In Commander, you're probably not using level 1.
Yeah, I know. A 5-drop, like to just look at your hand, that is inefficient, admittedly. But all 3 of these together, though, if you can read ahead if you needed to, but all 3 together is honestly, you can make them get rid of the thing that on chapter 3 you go get. So it does work within itself.
It does work within itself. If somebody else tutored for their boss card, you can steal it, then reanimate it. But we all know what we're going to do with this.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to go tutor for a card and then reanimate a creature on our next turn.
Yeah, for 5 mana, that's a sizable jump.
Even if we take the cheapest tutor, like we say route 1, route 2, chapter 2 is a 1 mana effect.
Yeah.
And the reanimation is a 4 mana. Nope. there is a 1 mana reanimation, but you're not losing life for it.
Exactly.
So,
yeah, that's the trade-off for those other ones.
Right. So you have to be running 2 other cards to get what this card gives you all in one, essentially.
Oh, yeah. I love efficiency. Oh, yeah.
But really, this is a 3 mana card stapled to a 4 mana card.
Yeah, it is.
Because you're not reanimating in recent times for 1 mana.
Yeah.
It's usually like 3 or 4
and a
or
lot of
5
them too
with some spice.
Are not to the battlefield either. A lot of them are just back to hand.
No, most of the 4
true.
mana.
Reanimate. Yeah.
Yeah, all the 4 mana, 5 mana reanimation are going to be to the battlefield. If you're paying 4, it's just going to be reanimation.
Yeah.
If you're paying 5, you're getting some type of bonus.
Yeah, like we had referenced in the previous episode. Shout out to you if you're here from there. But on the previous episode, you had referenced Living Death. I mean, that's a 5-drop, for example. And
yeah, and the drawback is everybody gets to do it. Psych, not if you build your deck around it.
Make sure you follow along.
And it's an enchantment.
Yeah.
So you have your enchantment synergies. I just think that this card is sort of ridiculous. And when I play it in my favorite deck of all time, Moldratha, it usually wins me the game over 3 turns because I got to tutor, reanimate, and then tutor again. If you get to tutor twice, unrestricted, you probably
and if
won
you
the
don't
game.
win, shame on you. You should be going
You
and
might
getting
be having
those.
fun.
That's true. If you're gonna have fun, go get your favorite pet cards. Otherwise, you should be getting the remaining combo piece. And again, a lot of these cards we're talking about, they're not expensive. That's the other thing I'm noticing. It's a reoccurring theme here. The cruelty of the Gex is $3.
$3 for a tutor and reanimation spell.
Let me
Okay.
pull up the cheapest vampiric tutor. Okay. Let's see the initial search results. $36. And it's damaged.
I will quickly end my 3-peat with easily.
Evil.
No, it's an angel, so she's not evil. One of my favorite cards printed in a very long time. This card is Radiant Solar. It is 5 colorless and a white for an angel. It's a 3/6 with flying and lifelink. Whenever Radiant Solar or another non-token creature enters the battlefield under your control, venture into the dungeon. You can pay a white and discard Radiant Solar, venture into the dungeon, and then gain 3 life.
We going dungeon diving. Ooh.
So I know what you're thinking. What if I'm not playing dungeon effects? What if I'm not trying to go through the dungeon? Did you not hear this card? Whenever a non-token creature enters the battlefield, I'm pretty sure you could do some ETB loops and just drain everybody out with this card.
Oh yeah. Dungeons are another one of those concepts. I feel like dungeons as a whole should be part of our sleeper list because, again, can be run in any deck, and there are dungeon shenanigans in every color. So,
I would say black
Esper.
definitely does.
Esper, yeah.
And white can abuse ETBs, which this wants you to do.
Yeah, very much so.
So if you get the any type of ETB loop, this wins you the game. If you're a dedicated venture deck, this is the best card in the deck. I can't tell you how many times I have gone infinite with Radiant Solar, feeding into itself.
I can attest for this because you would have like, Chromatic Guide, and what's the other one?
Karmic Guide
Karmic
and Revlark.
Yeah, Karmic Guide, Revlark, Radiant Solar, and your commander.
Or like Radiant Solar, Sun Titan, and a copy of Radiant Solar.
Yeah.
Looping in a sack outlet, just looping the Sun
Yeah.
Titan, bringing back a creature, sacking the creature you brought back, sacking Sun Titan. Oh, I ventured into the dungeon. Oh, I get to bring Sun Titan back. And Sun Titan brings back a creature. Oh, the dungeon only takes 2 creatures now to go through. Man.
Lots of value.
Love Radiant Solar. And then you can pitch it into the graveyard.
Yeah, for a white, too.
For a white. So even if you don't want to do any of that stuff and you're just like, I have minor venture synergies, you could just pitch this and reanimate it later. That's the great thing. You could pitch it and then play it later.
Yeah, dungeon, there's a couple of ways you could get this back, and dungeon decks like things dying too. Most of them have death triggers.
Well,
or attack triggers.
The commander has the commander version of this deck where this came from likes death triggers, but most of the dungeon cards want you to beat face.
Yeah, they want you to swing. They want you to swing or just bring more things in to swing.
So I can beat you in the face. I can go into this dungeon so I can beat you in the face. And, like, she's got flying and lifelink, which is sometimes relevant.
Hey, I will never, ever complain about lifelink. Ever. I think padding your life total is a very, very, very good thing to do. I hope that this has been enlightening for you guys. Like, truly, I really hope that, like, looking into a lot of these cards has kind of brought you some solace as to, you know, what maybe should be your next cards. Maybe we brought you some cards you didn't know about. Maybe we talked about cards that were your favorites. I love when, you know, there's that hidden gem that you use, but you never see anybody else. It's always so, like, watching people's eyes like widen as they read about this card that's 35 cents.
And people don't take it seriously when it can win you the game.
Oh yeah, some of these are genuine game enders, and they're getting slept on. Like, they're really getting slept on. And so I hope that you guys have enjoyed a lot of this. I think we have time for one more.
Ooh, one more card?
One more card.
You want to rock, paper, scissors for the last card? I know I've been talking a lot, but I want to rock, paper, scissors. I need vengeance.
I think I want you to take the last card. Nah, Woshambo me.
Defeat again!
So, in the spirit of Scumbaglius, that is the my heritage. This is my family name. Is Scumbaglius.
Give me your best card.
My best card. Oh, definitely gonna be Crown of Empires.
I'll murder you.
Murder. Oh, so I'm gonna end it with Sire of Insanity. 4 colorless, black, red, demon.
He's a demon.
He holding a dude and dunking him in an acid bath. He's very gross. So for what are you getting for 4 colorless and a black red? You're getting a 6/4 demon with, at the beginning of each end step, each player discards his or her hand. Beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. I know it's expensive. But we always joke about this when we talked about it last episode. Wheel of Fortune, 3 mana. I mean, why not? Because it's $500 and I'm never going to buy it. But Sire of Insanity is...
I just want you to discard your hand.
Yeah.
Unless you deal with this.
Yep.
You're going to discard your hand.
And we're in the colors for Madness, so you would be building your own Madness deck. So,
or
oh no.
Just building so much value through your board presence that you don't care.
Yep.
You're not a stinky blue deck.
That's right.
I put all of my creatures out fast.
That's right.
I go fast.
Rakdos
like
go
Sonic.
Burr. That's right. Rakdos go Burr. Dark Sonic was black and red. Shadow.
Dark Sonic.
No,
Don't
it's Dark
you
Sonic.
ever.
It's Dark Sonic.
Don't you ever call Shadow Dark Sonic.
Oh, what was it?
The perfect being?
You mean Ugandan calluses?
That's racist.
No. Sorry. I'm sorry. I meant Egyptian knuckles.
That's racist. Talk about this card before I get mad.
So, if you're building around it, it brings a lot of value. I feel like there aren't many versions of this that are... There are ways to repeat. So, like, don't be wrong, like Magus of the Wheel and any type of bring back cards. But Sire of Insanity is not only reoccurringly doing this, it's doing it every end step. So even when people try to get around it, on the next end step, everybody discards again. Like, it's not just that player whose turn it is discards. Every end step, everyone is discarding their hands. So even if you had some type of draw effect to try to get you back in the game,
you better be able to play it this turn, buddy.
It needs to be this turn.
You
This
know
kind
who
of card,
else?
Oh, a
You know
combination.
who else likes to put things in the graveyard?
My mom.
Reanimator. Oh, wait, you thought I was paying 6 mana for this? Hell no. I'm reanimating this
Yeah.
with Cruelty of Gix.
See what we did there. There's always fun to be had. I, of course, am going to advocate for the saltiest of cards. And I hope that you guys follow suit and terrorize your local game store.
You know what? I just want you personally to have longer turns than all of your opponents. I want you to eat all the time real estate and win.
It's free real estate.
No, they gotta pay with their lives.
Pay with your life. Well, I mean, yeah, you can never get it back. That's the beauty. But what would you call somebody who takes all that time?
Not Lawrence.
Lawrence. Leonard?
Not Leonard. No,
No?
not Lance. Lance is like the dance with no pants. No. I think Larry's like to take long turns. So
They like
I
to-
would
they
call
like to do
you
what?
I would like to call you Longturnlarry. And that's a motherfucking podcast, bitch.